Okay, here we are, part two, and let's see if we can wrap this up fairly quickly this time. Now, before we continue, what I've done is, in that media folder, I've added another folder called audio export. Those are all the audio files, the WAV files that I exported from Audacity when I recorded all the narration for each slide. And if I select a file, down here it shows me what the length of that WAV file is, down at the bottom in the properties. And if I very quickly scroll down, I can see those lengths. They're all somewhere in the 20-second range, 20 to 30 seconds. I'm looking for the longest one. There's one, 45 seconds. So my longest one is 45 seconds. Here's why I want to do that. These slides, if I double click on this slide has a duration of 7 seconds. So I want to push that out because I want to add all the audio at once. So I want to make sure that the slide duration is longer than my longest audio, which is 45 seconds. So I'm going to click on this slide, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to shift click on that to select all of them, and I'm going to push this out, and I'm going to push it out to 50 seconds. It's a lot easier to shorten them than lengthen them. And as you see now, they're all awful long. So now I'm going to, because my introduction, this first slide here, this slide, this is going to be really, really brief. In fact, I can drop that down right now. I can drop that down to about 10 seconds because that's going to be barely longer what's left of the audio. So here is where my first audio is going to go on this slide. So from this point, because this is my intro, and then I start with all the others. So from this point, I'm going to go to Home, and I'm going to go to Add Music. And in that media folder under audio export, I'm going to click intro and then shift click on the bottom to select them all. And then I'm going to click open. And it's going to drop all the audio one after another, the intro, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. And it's going to add them all the way to the end. And you can see I'm all the way down to slide 30 and I've still got lots left. So it created all my audio, and now all I got to do is shorten the slides to match it. So first of all, my intro, I'm going to push this out to the beginning of that slide because that's where I want it. Whoops. This slide here, I'm going to shorten that down to about 3 seconds. And in fact, I want to shorten it down to about 2 seconds. And also the other thing I want to do is I want to put a transition between these slides. So again, I'm going to go from this slide, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to pick my very last slide, which is this slide. And I'm going to go to animations, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to go to that page turn, and I'm going to click that page turn. And you can see now at the beginning of each slide, I've got that little triangle there that shows there's a transition. And I've got that page turn transition between each slide. So I've shortened this one down. Let me double check that again. So I can, in fact, I can shorten that slide a little bit. I'm going to shorten that because I'm trying to tighten everything up because it's running a little bit on the long side. Actually, I think I'm going to put that back to where it was. Oh, to 9 seconds. And I'm going to shorten that to 1 second. And now this slide, this is my intro. And this slide, I need to shorten this down, and because my intro isn't that long, so this one I'm going to shorten down. I'm going to shorten this down to about 10 seconds. And my audio is still running a little bit short, so I'm going to get this down to 9 seconds. And I want to double check my transition here between not just the slides but also the audio. So I'm going to
BikesByBruce.com. What follows are some tips I've used that have proved.
So that works pretty good. Again, slide 2 is running, the audio is really short compared to the slide. So I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to get this down to about 10 seconds. And slide 2, double check my transition.
In here that will help you with a build. Cut, trim, and paint all parts in advance. This will allow for a more like-life build during the final assembly and assure that sanding, dust,
So that's pretty good. And again, this slide is running really long compared to the audio. So see, it's a lot easier to shorten them than it is to make them longer. Ooh, that was a little bit, that's a little bit too short. So I'm going to put it out to 25, no, a little bit more, 27. I can just double click here. I can type in the time I want. So I'm going to type in 26. And that looks good. So again, the audio for slide 4, I'm going to pull it back to the beginning of the slide. And I'm going to check my transition.
Dedicated workspace free of cats, kids, etc. Use old bottles for parts of paint storage. Old prescription bottles in all sizes are just...
That looks pretty good. Again, my slide's running really long. So I'm going to double click on the slide. And I'm going to pull that back to 30 seconds. Pull it back to 30 is still way too long. Pull it back to 20, 25. I just want to play with this until I get it about right. 23. Again, I'm going to pull the audio for slide 5 to the beginning of the slide and check my transition.
Containers for your custom or thinned paints. Use old bit.
And slide 25 is long. And then for 12, I'm going to pull that audio out to the beginning of the slide. And you kind of get the idea. So I'm going to pause this recording and I'm going to work my way through the rest of the slides and we'll see what happens. Okay, and I'm finally done and caught up. Basically, I've shortened each slide duration so that it is approximately the same length as the audio recording for each slide. A few minor changes I've done is on this slide 25, it actually covers slides 25 and 26. I shortened them both because the whole thing about the chrome covers both, not just the front brake and everything, but also the headlight bezel. And then that very last one, those last 2 slides jump in, and it's quite short. It's only 3.5, 4 seconds. So I've really shortened those 2 down to just a few seconds each, and then the last one. So I'm cramming in just those last 2 or 3 audios, I'm cramming in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different slides on that. So we're done with all the audio and everything. And now we just got to get our credits done. So again, I need to do transitions here. So from this one here, shift, and this one here, I'm going to go back to my animations. And because I want to do cross dissolves on all those, I'm going to do cross dissolve on those. So again, let's double check our transition.
Models can be just as fun to build.
And I'm actually going to trim that audio, I think, because that audio is...
Oh, and don't forget, the full-size models can be just as fun to build.
So I think this audio, I'm going to trim it right here. So I'm going to select the audio file.
Oh, and don't forget, the full-size models can be just as fun to build.
So right about there, and I'm going to split that audio, and this last piece, I'm going to delete it. Let's double check, make sure I did it right.
Oh, and don't forget, the full-size models can be just as fun to build.
Okay, so now, through my credits, I want to have my music playing again, so I'm going to go back to Add Music, and I'm going to go back to my media folder, and here's my David Henderson, and I'm going to open that, and of course, obviously it's going to run really, really long. So let's again double check this.
Oh, and don't forget, the full-size models can be just as fun to build.
Okay, that's a bit loud. So let's go to our music tools up here and our music volume. We're going to want to bring that down to about the middle. And also I'm going to right click on the music. No, I'm going to select again, click on the music, fade in. I'm going to fade it in fast. So let's double check our transition again.
Models can be just as fun to build.
That's a little bit better. And whenever it runs out the end, automatically starts at the end, at the beginning. So I'm going to come back here and I want to put in a title. So I want to go back to home. Where do I want to go? Oh, I want to put in a title. So the title I want to put in is bikesbybruce.com. And the whoops. That's what I want for my title. And I'm going to stretch this out so that it centers in the frame. And again, I'm going to change my text color to that gold. And I'm going to bold it. And the credit I want, or the animation that I want for it, is... I think that's the one that I used. And I think I want to change my font size down a little bit. Maybe I can push that back up. No, 30. Okay, whoop. And I want to push that down so that it goes into the bottom of the screen. Again, I'm going to pull these out just so that it centers it in the screen. It's a bit quirky about Windows Movie Maker. And again, it creates this stupid background. So again, I'm going to pull my title over that one, select that graphic, hit delete, and get rid of it. So now let's again go back to the beginning and check out my transitions now.
Models can be just as fun to build.
And I want to bring that in a little bit more and double click on it, and I can change my text duration. I'm going to make it, instead of 5 seconds, I'm going to make it 8 seconds. And that one there, instead of 10, I'm going to make it 12. 12. So that this way, I want the title to last almost as long as that. Actually, I'm going to make it 11. So that graphic is 11. That one is 8. Maybe I can push that up to 9. Yeah, I can pull that in a little bit. Okay, so again, I'm going to come right here, check my transitions.
Models can be just as fun to build.
And the graphic isn't flying in and out, so again, I want to double click on the graphic and oh, I think I have to have it selected. Okay, so now let's come back here and try this again.
Models can be just as fun to build.
Okay, so that's pretty good. And what I want to do now is the music. I want to select the music track. I've got it trimmed. It's automatically trimmed it to the end of the file. So I'm going to go back to Music Tools, and I'm going to fade it out, and I'm going to fade it out medium. So let's come back here and check that. There we go. the title in. Okay. That's why it looked kind of weird. So again, let me come back to this title here. Double click on that. Go to text tools. I think that was the one I used. So I'll select that. So again, we'll come back here and we'll try this again.
Models can be just as fun to build.
And there we go. So now we're going to make sure that we come here and we're going to do save our project, just so that we don't mess things up. And now that we've done that, and we're happy, we can go back and play with this again. Here's the time sink. This can take forever to do, but now that we've got our completed movie and we've saved our project, so we can go back and make changes. Now it's time to save the movie. So up here, we're going to click Save Movie. And we can pick all kinds of them for computer, burner DVD, for email. We can pick all kinds of different mobile devices or create customs. I generally, when I'm doing these projects, I always save it HD display 1080. So we're going to click on that, and it's going to ask us where. So generally when I build these projects, is somewhere I'll have a video project, and I'm going back to where I am. So I'm going to go back to local disk C, video. So here's my project. Here's the folder with all my media in it. And what I generally do is, because the project is also in here, I'm going to right click, create a new folder, and I'm going to call it renders. That way, if I render this video out several times in different formats, they're all going to be in one folder, so I don't start getting all the different videos, video clips that I may be dropping in, partial video extraction, stuff like that. Start getting everything all confused. So any final renders of the video for final projects in any format out, I generally make a separate folder for that. So, and I'm going to call this slideshow 1080p. I usually try to put something in the title. I can always rename it later. Something in the title to tell me how I saved it out. And we're just going to save out the movie. And this is another time sink. Depending on your CPU and memory and everything, this is going to take a while. So it's only at 1%. I'm going to pause the recording and come back later. Okay, it's finally finished rendering, and that took about just over 10 minutes. So here, if we open up our folder, here's our WMV, our Windows Media movie, and as you can see, our screen resolution is 1920 by 1080, and our length is 10 minutes 41 seconds. Now that's just one, that's the slideshow length. So this movie is all ready to be uploaded to YouTube, and we'll have an HD 1080p version of that up on YouTube, and we can audition it in Windows. Here you can see our shortened slides.
From the bare metal foil collection in lieu of silver paint really makes the trim on the radiator guards and headlight bracket collars pop. Orient the seam on the headlight bracket so that it is facing the headstock.
There we go. And that's how you do it. Thanks for watching.